My name is Nikki Duran. I'm just like a chaotic, random, floating speck just trying to get the most out of the world. But also, realistically, I guess I'm a design engineer, product designer, software engineer, one of those things. But more emphasis on the floating speck, just doing whatever.
What did you bring us to drink today?
Yerba mate enlightenment. It was like my favorite drink when I was living in Hawaii. It is caffeinated and it kind of sometimes feels like, but it's really good.
I'm so excited to try it. All right, should we crack them open?
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Cheers.
Thoughts?
Ooh.
Nice,
It
right?
is so subtly mint, but refreshing,
Right?
calming. This is really nice.
It's nice.
Yerba Madre.
Yeah, that's their new name. I'm not crazy about it, but it used to be called Guayaki.
Mm.
Big point of contention.
What is your creative edge?
Doing both. Back in the day, like me and my friend would always joke that we were going to write a book called Doing Both. And it was basically just about how we never really fit into one box of who we were. So whether that was like doing activities that were like very different from each other, doing like academic disciplines or like being very social, going out, like all those things. I don't really believe in choosing one identity and just staying within that. And I think there's a lot of beauty in paradox. And I think that that has given me a more interesting approach to the world.
Why do you think that people feel like they have this pressure to be one thing?
I feel like it's like we think about it and it's like, oh, to be good at this thing, I have to go all in on it. But then we forget that, like, by working our brains in other ways, I think it helps you approach those things in different ways. You think you have this full identity and you might have to give up like half of this identity to go half and half, but like you can fully have like 100% of each of those identities and you don't necessarily need to give it up. We get comfortable in like these little lanes that we stay in and we get good at it and we feel okay, we know what to expect. And I think changing lanes a lot is like initially uncomfortable, but then when you get comfortable with it, it opens up so many more possibilities.
What are some ways that you've done both in your career or in your life?
Ooh, let's think. I technically have been in like a very technical field. Like I've been very into programming and like math and stuff like that. But I also am really into the arts and everything. So I've always tried to balance it out, whether it's like designing something or like, I don't know, like painting at home still or sewing or like whatever it might be, like really trying to make sure that I'm not just like so focused on a technical thing, but also being creative with it. I think there's a lot of ways where you can do seemingly opposite, being really girly and showing up to the office wearing like this, but I'm surrounded by a bunch of techie techie software engineers, which is me too,
Mhm.
But, I think there's a lot of fun in playing with like overlapping things that seem pretty opposite from each other.
Something that I've seen you talk about on social media is being two
Yeah.
cultures at once and being able to embrace that. What has that looked like for you?
That's actually a good point. I think that's probably where the doing both stems from. My dad is Colombian and my mom is Filipino, and I feel like especially when I was younger, I didn't really like know how to embrace both. As I've gotten older, it's been really nice to be able to go to those places and like see what it was like for each of my parents. And there are a lot of overlaps with the culture, but it also like there are a lot of differences. You could think, oh, like I'm not Asian enough for this side, or I'm not like Hispanic enough for this side. But I think it makes it even better that you don't necessarily fit into one thing. You get to be both.
Really, like you don't owe anyone any explanation, and like
Right.
you might be surprised of like what you can learn from just going to your roots and getting a little more grounded.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think's taken you from good to great?
Learning to trust myself, whether it's like trusting myself and just being able to figure out whatever comes at me, knowing yourself enough to know when to adapt, but also when to push back on your own opinions.
And
Like,
it's so easy to look around at like what everyone else is doing or anyone's opinion. If you listen to other people before you're actually listening to yourself,
Yeah.
you like aren't forming your own opinion or like
Right.
your own identity.
Be more you versus like just getting swayed in every direction.
Is there any sacrifices that you've had to make in order to make sure that you're showing up for yourself in the way that you want?
Probably sleep. Especially like I feel like I don't get that much sleep, but even in college, I was doing computer science degree and a business degree.
Mhm.
But I was like, I need to go out all the time because it's college and like I wanted to go out. And I just didn't get any sleep. Right now I'm in New York and I love it and it's like a big city life, but I do sometimes look at my past lives where I'm like, oh, like living in Hawaii was so much fun. It was much slower paced lifestyle, like big on nature. And I'm like, oh, also want to be living that life too at the same time. But it's tough. You do have to pick your life and your surroundings at any point. If you have these different lives that you want to pop into, you can get the most out of each of those lives.
Location is such a great topic when you're thinking about building your life because, yeah, each city around the world serves a different purpose, has a
Yeah.
different vibe, and will change your day to day on what that looks like. Moving, for me at least, was really challenging
Yeah.
at first
Yeah.
because, I mean, I had always lived in New York before
Right.
going to San
Yeah.
Diego and trying to like make friends and find my way and just really like understand what it was like. It was a huge shift,
Yeah.
but an amazing shift. And like if you can learn to embrace that and really get the most out of where you are, it goes a long way. But also, what has moving around like done for you and just like your confidence and your
Yeah.
happiness?
I think of it as almost like a stone sculpture where it's like you're always that stone, but you can carve out different parts of yourself by like moving around, by changing your surroundings and by doing these things. And I think like knowing like, okay, I like myself and I can hang out alone, I can do these things and like trusting yourself like, okay, like even if I don't really know that many people there, I can go make friends, I can get out of the house, I can talk to people. And just trusting that that will work out, I think has been super big. Once you get used to it, like it makes your world so much bigger because you have so many pockets of people that you have from these different parts of your life. You can also like learn a lot about yourself by being different types of people. Like I wouldn't say I'm the same person here as I was when I was living in Hawaii. I was way more like laid back, going surfing, hanging out, going on hikes, and like that's not as much of me right now, but it is a part of me and that girl is still in there. It teaches you so much about people and yourself by moving around and getting to like almost play these different characters in your life and you learn to love these different sides of yourself.
If you could give someone a piece of advice who is about to make a big move or
Yeah.
is wanting to make a move but is nervous to do so,
Yeah.
what would you tell them heading into that?
I would say get out of the house. Like, go do some activities. I, like, tell this to my sister, or she'd be like, I don't know, she'd be nervous about something, and I'm like, "All right, like, go out and get a life." Like, you shouldn't be worried about, like, a friend not texting you back or whatever. Like, just get out of the house, like, find different activities, find different, like, people and places. Like, got my pool league tomorrow. I was playing Dungeons& and Dragons last night. Like,
You
get
are
out
the
of the house.
coolest. That's the thing too. Yeah, right. It's like we can rely so much on other people to like invite us first to something.
Yeah, and I think it can be, like, stressful when you're like, "Oh god, like, do I go up to people and talk to them?" Or, like, making friends as an adult, you're like, "Alright, people kinda have their, like, set things." But I think it is nice to just be somewhere alone and then to just be like, "Oh, like, it's cool painting, what do you think?"
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And yeah, it doesn't have to be that scary. Jumping into our fast five now, this is the part of the segment where we just get to know a little bit more about your daily rituals and routines. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Definitely a night owl. It was tough for me to get up at 10 AM today, but I try my best, but definitely a night owl.
What do you typically have for breakfast?
Lately, I've been getting, like, a half dozen bagels from Apollo. I'll get, like, a bunch of everything bagels, and then I'll make it with scallion cream cheese and a tomato, or cottage cheese with olive oil drizzled and black pepper. It's actually really good.
This sounds amazing, and I think I'm gonna go grab a dozen to take home in my suitcase.
Yeah, you should.
On the way
So
back.
they're like
because-
sourdough bagels. They're really good.
What's your favorite hobby right now?
I think right now it's either snowboarding or sewing. I made this dress last week. I got really bored.
Look at
I've been going to the garment district a lot.
What just inspired you to get into this?
I think I was like, I want a lot of things, but then it's made out of like the worst material. And I'm like, this is like kind of itchy. I like don't want to buy this. So I'm like, I guess I have to make it myself. That's short. I just bought a sewing machine and I'm like watching these older ladies on YouTube that are teaching me how to thread a bobbin. And I'm like, yeah, of course, just go slow.
That is so cool, and you're inspiring me to get a sewing machine.
You should. It's kind of nice.
What is your current favorite self-care?
Going to a museum or like going to the sauna and doing like a really extensive, unnecessarily long skincare thing, and then just like laying on the couch, not moving, and like hanging out with my cat. Yeah.
I'd love for you to talk a little bit about the organizations you're a part of.
Yeah.
Because people don't even know that that kind of stuff is out there.
Actually, for the last 2 years, my New Year's resolution has been to become a patron of the arts. And I was like, I don't know what that entirely entails, but like we'll see. And there's all these like young donor groups where you can pay like a little bit of money. And you're like technically a donor, but you're like a member of this thing. The New York City Ballet has their, what is it called? The Young Patron Circle. And then they'll have like these fun events. It's kind of like Gossip Girl. But like they'll have these like fun, cool events throughout the year. And it gets you like out of the house. It gets you to the museum. It gets you to the ballet. And then they'll have these parties and stuff where you can dress up, and it makes the whole thing more enjoyable, and like you can meet people through it. And it's just like a fun way to like get back into the arts and like again like the physical world of this stuff. Like you're in these beautiful places. We'll do like a ballet class with like one of the principal dancers, and I'm like, that's sick.
That's
And
so
that,
cool.
right? It's so cool. And I know like the Met has one too. And then also like the New York Public Library and the Botanical Garden. Like I've done some research on this. There's a bunch of them. And it's just so fun to just like get out of the house and have like a set activity.
You're making such core memories that you'll have
Yeah.
forever.
And it's just like a fun, different thing to do. Like you can always go to the bars. They'll always be there. But like, I don't know, sometimes it's kind of fun to like do that in a different scene.
Oh, yeah. My last question is, who do you go to for advice?
If it's something like emotional, then probably my mom. If it's something like very logical and like probably my dad. Within my like everyday social life, probably like either my boyfriend or like one of my friends. Sometimes I'm kind of stubborn and I'm like, I don't really like advice from other people. I'm just gonna do whatever I think.
You can say like, oh, I'm being stubborn and going with my opinion, but like,
Yeah.
I feel like we can talk to people, but in the end of the day, we know kind of within us
Yeah.
what we want to go to. And I think it's when the person says the opposite and then we're like,
You know, I don't like
actually, I
that
don't
one.
like that the way you're saying.
Never mind.
Nikki, thank you so
I know,
much.
that was so fun. This was